How's it going today, guys, and welcome to Marijuana Stocks. It is a new YouTube channel where I'm going to be keeping you guys updated on everything going on with the marijuana industry. I have a much larger channel on YouTube under the name of Ryan Scribner. That is my name, but I know the marijuana or cannabis industry is kind of a niche topic and not everyone is interested in this area, so this is going to be limited to this channel as far as updating you guys on any major news events or details relating to the cannabis industry. And in this first video, we're going to be talking about how a major exchange has now listed a Canadian weed stock. So if you are interested in being updated on news surrounding the cannabis or marijuana industry, make sure you guys subscribe, as there will be new videos coming out frequently talking about this new and exciting industry. But this piece of news came out on The Motley Fool, and all of these articles are linked up in the description. But Cronos Group stock is now available on a major US stock exchange, the NASDAQ. And before this, your only option was to invest in this stock through the over-the-counter markets. Now, keep in mind that the OTC markets are higher risk, and most investors stay away from these exchanges altogether due to the fact that it is hard to find credible information about these companies, and there are a lot of scams out there on the over-the-counter markets. Do keep in mind that the major exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ have very strict listing requirements, and these companies have to file with the SEC, so they are more heavily regulated, and as a result, many people will not touch anything that is not listed on a major stock exchange. So Cronos Group is a stock that most people are familiar with if you've been keeping track of the medical marijuana industry in Canada. It is one of the largest producers of medical marijuana in Canada, and obviously the big catalyst for growth here for Cronos Group and other marijuana stocks is the upcoming legalization of recreational marijuana in Canada. But why is this such a big plus for Cronos Group? There are a number of reasons. First of all, like I said, most people will not touch any stock that is not listed on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange as a US investor, and as a result, these people now have the ability to invest on a legitimate exchange to invest in a cannabis stock. A lot of people were not comfortable with going through the over-the-counter markets, and also keep in mind that many new retail investors are investing through Robinhood. That is obviously the brokerage that offers you commission-free trading with no minimum account balance, and as a result, this app has skyrocketed in popularity, especially among young people. However, one of the main cons of Robinhood is the fact that you can only invest in stocks listed on the major exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, so if you wanted to get some exposure to a cannabis stock, you would not be able to do that through the Robinhood app. You would have to go through another traditional online brokerage. But now people can invest in a cannabis stock right from the Robinhood app because it is on the NASDAQ. So as we can see here looking at the stock chart, the stock opened at $9.68 today. It has climbed as high as over $10 a share, and now it's settling down around $9.80, somewhere around there. But obviously there was a lot of excitement surrounding this, and the stock is up 4.56% today. Now if you compare this to the listing on the Canadian Venture Exchange, I believe they're actually on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX. I'm not sure why that says CVE. But anyways, this stock is down 1.86% today, while the listing on the NASDAQ is up 4.56%. So what that shows me is there was a significant amount of excitement surrounding this news, and a lot of people are eager to get their feet wet in the cannabis industry, and now they can do so very easily through traditional mechanisms like using their Robinhood app. A lot of people don't want to go out there and sign up for another brokerage just to be able to invest in these cannabis or weed stocks, and now they have the ability to invest in a pure play cannabis investment through a US exchange. So as of right now, this is the only pure play cannabis investment available through a major exchange, and what I mean by that is an investment in a company with direct exposure to the cannabis industry. Cronos Group is a company that is actually growing and distributing medical marijuana in Canada and other global locations. Now there are other options to invest in companies that have some exposure to the cannabis industry, but it's not direct exposure, and these are through major exchanges. So for example, we have GW Pharmaceuticals, Insys Therapeutics, both of these are biotechnology or pharmaceutical companies, and then Constellation Brands, that's a very large beverage company in the US, and people like this stock because they have a 10% ownership stake in Canopy Growth Corp, and they are also talking about working on creating a cannabis-infused beer. But other than that, these companies are not going to largely benefit from the broad legalization if that does pass in Canada, due to the fact that the exposure to the cannabis industry is quite light, but Cronos Group is going to benefit largely because they are a pure play investment in the cannabis industry. So if recreational use of marijuana is legalized in Canada, Cronos Group should be able to sell recreational marijuana by September, and experts have estimated that the potential recreational marijuana market in Canada could be from $4.2 billion to as much as $12 billion annually. So this could be absolutely huge for stocks like Cronos Group, and they are already working on increasing their output to be able to keep up with this demand that will likely happen if legalization is passed. Now, what is also interesting is the largest weed company, Canopy Growth Corp, has also expressed interest in being listed on the NASDAQ as well. Again, the reasons for this are very clear. It will allow retail US investors to be able to invest in this company very easily without having to go through the over-the-counter markets. So this would also be a big plus for this industry if we see Canopy Growth stock getting listed on the NASDAQ. But the fact that this has happened already with Cronos Group tells me that I do believe that Canopy Growth Corp will have success as well with getting listed on this major US exchange. This is a big plus for these companies. It's a big plus for the industry because it legitimizes the cannabis industry being listed on major US exchanges, and the demand for Cronos Group stock will likely increase as it is now more readily accessible to those US retail investors. So overall, I see this as a big plus for Cronos Group stock and the marijuana industry as a whole. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to be notified of any future uploads, and I will see you in the next video.